What's up everyone, Swifty here. Welcome back to the Academy. Let me ask you a serious question, and I want you to be completely honest with yourself. When you get a fresh Archon Shard, what is your immediate lizard brain reaction? If you're like 95% of player base, you open up your Helminth screen, look at your favorite frame and say, how can I make this stat number bigger? You look up Crimson Shards and think, man, if I slot 5 of these bad boys, my ability shrink goes up by 50%, my red line Gauss or Stan X is going to hit like an absolute freight train. But then, you take that exact build into Elite Deep Archimedea, you get caught in a sluggish 3-second casting animation, get instantly deleted through your shield gate, or find yourself completely running dry on energy because you have absolute zero launch economy. Today, we're deleting those basic spreadsheets. We are moving past the copy and paste guides. This is the Archon Shard philosophy in 2026. This isn't a video about telling you what exact specific shards to put on a specific frame. Instead, we are looking at a deep psychological side of sharding. I'm going to teach you how to stop treating these shards as mere statistics and start treating them as tools that completely rewrite how a Warframe feels to play. We're going to cover exactly where to farm them in 2026, the game-changing modern fusion mechanics, and the what-if theorycrafting loops that will apparently change how you build your arsenal. Before we can talk about the psychology of spending your resources, we need to know exactly how to fill your chest. In 2026, the shard economy is wider than it's ever been, but not every farm is created equal. Let's map out exactly where these power sources live, starting from your reliable weekly routines to the various drops in the system. 1. The daily and weekly foundations. The 1999 calendar. Keep up with the active timeline routines. The calendar is a fantastic passive resource to ensure you aren't living raw on the table. As you can see from this week's 1999 calendar, we can get a free Azure Archon Shard. Archon Hunts, the classic reliable weekly run. It is the grandfather of the shard system, but it remains an absolute staple for securing your guaranteed weekly baseline. Netracells, quick, highly dense, and a very solid place to pull standard and Tauforged Shards from the drop table while gathering and other valuable in-game resources. Then we have Bird 3. Do not sleep on your weekly Caviar Syndicate shop. Building a massive baseline inventory means buying your guaranteed weekly shot here every single time the reset hits. And do keep in mind you have to be rank 5 with Caviar in order to buy this shards, and they do rotate on a weekly basis, and I think it's the similar or the same shard that drops from the Archon Shard. And as you can see, we have an Azure Archon Shard. Elite Deep Archimedea EDA and Elite Temporal Archimedea ETA. This is the absolute pinnacle of in-game testing. If you want the absolute highest organic drop rates for Tauforged Shards, this is where you test your metal. It is tough, it's chaotic, and it requires high-level build synergy, but the rewards are absolutely unmatched. And yes, you have to be rank 5 in order to do these with the Caviar and Holvania, and as you can see, the rewards are definitely worth it. 3. The wildcard Anomalies. Descendia Steel Path specifically. Now here's the spicy one. While the drop rates are low, shards do passively drop in this chaotic high-level blender of a game mode. It is a great place to farm, focus, and level companions with the added bonus of a surprise shard now and then. And as you can see, it's not just an Archon Shard. You can get a lot of good stuff, and sometimes Digital Extremes blesses us with a 3-day mod drop booster. Gifts from the Lotus, the ultimate once in a blue moon miracle drop. DE will drop these and as a special alerts during dev streams or major events. It's highly rare, even less of a consistent chance than farming Descendia, but when they do drop, you drop everything, go grab immediately. Unfortunately, I've already done them and the event is kind of over already, so I cannot show you how it will look like. But if you go to your list tab while in navigation, it should show something in the sorts of Archon Shards and then a mission of exterminate or whatever the case might be. For a long time, player psychology was dominated by RNG anxiety. You'd finish your weekly hunts, get a standard Azure Shard, and feel a sense of defeat because it wasn't a shiny Tauforged. But with the Helminth system received a massive upgrades that completely shifted the psychology of progression. We are no longer at the mercy of luck. We are the engineers of our own power. The Tauforged path. If the game won't give you a Tauforged, you make it yourself. You can now combine 3 standard shards of the exact same color along 100 Stella to forge a Tauforged shard of your choice. Think about the massive psychological shift here. You're not hoarding these useless duplicates waiting for a miracle. Every single standard shard you collect is now progression towards a guaranteed Tauforged shard. And if you don't know how it works, you go to this thing which is Accent Fusion and you choose your Archon Shard of your choice. It can be green, orange, purple, blue, yellow and red. As you can see, you need 3 normal ones that will be sacrificed and you use 100 Stella to make a Tauforged Archon Shard. The Coalescent path. Want to get weird? You can spend 50 Stella to fuse 2 different basic colors together to create a Coalescent Shard, that being emerald green, topaz orange, violet purple. Now let's address the elephant in the room. The system, as we note in 2026, is incredibly diverse, and the possibility of DE adding even more crazy shard colors and types down the line is always there. But here's the secret. Even if they do add 10 more colors, the psychological principles we're covering next will remain 100% true. And as you can see, you can use normal shards to create basic mixed colors of them. Or what you can do is you can go and use Tauforged shards. See? And you use 50 Stella. Let's get into the actual philosophy. Why do we shard? Most players use shards to amplify what a Warframe is already good at. If a frame has high armor, they add more armor. If a frame does high damage, they add more strength. This is a massive psychological trap. The true high level way to look at Archon Shard is to ask, where is the friction in my gameplay loop? Shards are not there to make your big numbers even bigger, they are there to eliminate your Warframe structural flaws. 1. The gameplay feel overhaul, casting speed versus damage. Let's look at casting speed amber shards. On paper, casting speed gives you 0 extra damage, but psychologically, it is the ultimate survival and offensive tool. If you're playing an active caster, you have long casting animations, and during those animations, you're completely vulnerable. You can't parkour, you cannot shoot, you are locked in place. By sliding 2 amber shards or 1 Tauforged amber shard for casting speed, you can place those animations up to 50%. You aren't just casting faster, you're reducing your vulnerability window by half. That is a defensive layer that no health or shield mod can ever replicate. 2. The Mudslide Liberation. This is my absolute favorite what-if theorycrafting scenario. Every Warframe build is a puzzle with only 8 mudslides and an excellent slot. Often, you are forced to run utility mod you don't really want to run, just to make the frame function. Question yourself. Do you run Equilibrium just because your frame is hungry for energy? Do you run Natural Talent just because your casting animations feel sluggish? Do you run Flow just because your base energy pool is too small to cast the ultimate? With Shards, you can offload these utility requirements directly onto your Archon inventory. The what if loop is, what if instead of running Equilibrium, I slide in two violet shards of primary to energy conversion? Suddenly, I can completely delete Equilibrium from my mod configuration. Now I have completely free opened up a mod slot on my Warframe. What can I put there? A specialized Archman, more range, more rolling guard. The shards don't just give you stats. They buy you the freedom in build crafting. Let's run through 3 real-world high-level what-if scenarios to show you exactly how the psychological shift translates into your actual build configurations. Scenario A, the weapon platform Decimator, Saryn Prime. The friction. Saryn is a powerhouse, but when you build her as a high-tier weapon platform utilizing toxic slash and spores, she is incredibly hungry for two things: high ability duration to keep her buffs up without constantly recasting, and crucial casting speed, so she isn't locked in place while spreading her plagues. Normally, fitting both of these onto her mastery forces you to sacrifice valuable things, such as range or survival mods like Running Guard. The shard solution. Instead of trying to force more duration mods onto a main build, we look at the shard inventory. We start in 2 Crimson Shards for ability duration, or 2 Amber Shards for casting speed. Let's do that right now. Ability duration, casting speed. The results. The what if loop. What if we offload her entire utility package to shard layout? By doing this, we can completely remove the generic duration casting mods from the main grid. Saryn is now free to run maximum range and defensive layers, transforming her into an incredible safe lightning fast weapon platform that never has stopped moving to stop moving to cast. And as you can see, we have 120 duration without even starting in a duration based mod, which opens up for more carnage. Scenario B, the unstoppable berserker Valkyr Prime. Valkyr is the queen of raw armor and melee fury, but her base energy economy is notoriously tight, especially when keeping up Hysteria active while constantly casting Warcry. On top of that, despite her tanky nature, she can easily be staggered or suffer from sluggish casting animation loops when trying to regroup in high-level endurance runs. The Shard Solution. We ignore the trap of stacking basic armor shards, she already has plenty, so instead we look at the operation flow. We start in 2 violet shards that says health pickups, energy and health conversion, and then we can start in a Tauforged one because we can. And for sluggish animation casting loops, we start in casting speed with yellow shards, and we have fixed 2 major things: the energy economy and a sluggish casting animation speeds. The result, the what if loop. What if we stop trying to make Valkyr tankier on paper and instead we make it infinitely more fluid? The violet shards completely solve her energy hunger without needing to run flow or equilibrium on a main build. With the amber shards, turns her into a high speed agile force of nature. She goes from sluggish heavy tank to a hypermobile self-sustain berserker who can reposition instantly. Scenario C. The Gunslinger Efficiency Mesa Prime. The friction is everyone knows Mesa's regulator shreds, but she suffers from massive animation locks when entering and exiting her Peacemaker stance. If we get caught activating her fall in the front of a heavy Xmas unit on the steel path, those fractions of a second can get deleted. Furthermore, the energy drain during prolonged channeling can leave her completely dry if you don't build heavily into efficiency. The shard solution. We deploy 2 amber shards specifically tuned for casting speed, or in this case we can just slot in a Tauforged Archon Shard for casting speed. To instantly snap her into in and out of Peacemaker, we'll combine our resources to slot in Coalescent Tauforged Shards to increase your critical chance on targets affected by heat status. The result. The what if loop. What if Mesa didn't have to choose between casting safety and raw weapon damage? The casting speed shards turn into an instant activation turret, completely removing the danger of animation locks. Meanwhile, the turbo shards shift the left of crit stacking of a secondary build and onto her shard pool. You now have highly responsive gunslinger who can comfortably slot an extra utility on her pistols while maintaining game-breaking damage scaling. It's incredibly simple for your future build crafting sessions. I want to leave you with a concrete mental checklist. When you sit down at your Helminth chair, run through these 3 questions. Number 1. Does your Warframe rely on casting animations longer than 1.5 seconds to survive or DPS? If yes, stop adding strength. Deploy 1 or 2 amber shards for casting animation immediately. Number 2. Are you struggling to fit a crucial mod because you are forced to run utility or energy sustain? If yes, offload that stat into Archon inventory. Use Azure for armor and health thresholds, or Crimson Violet for duration and energy caps, to open up that mod slot up. Number 3. Does your build use specialized status scanning like corrosive or heat? If yes, look closely at the Crimson Shards like Emerald and Topaz to push past the standard status cap rules. The next time you sit down at your Helminth chair, I want you to close your eyes, take a step back, and stop looking at the numbers. Play the mission. Pay attention to the exact moment you feel annoyed. Is it because your reload is too slow? Is it because you keep running out of energy at the start of the map? Is it because your cast animations feel like they're taking an eternity? Identify the friction and use the shards to erase it. That is how you play Warframe like a true scholar of the Academy. Let me know in the comments below, what is your absolute favorite what if shard combination that completely changed how a frame feels for you. Let's keep the debate constructive and mechanical down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you want more deep dive mechanical philosophy. We have the Excalibur build guide dropping this weekend or next week with some incredible synergy loops, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Until next time, keep theorycrafting, keep optimized. I'll see you all in the next one. Swifty signing out.